Do you find yourself buying things, later realizing you already own it? Or are you avoiding having family or friends over because you're embarrassed by the mess? It's not always about the mess you can see. It's the stuff hiding in drawers, cupboards, and that one spare room that nobody talks about. Or maybe it's even the garage. Today, I'll be sharing 5 signs your home might need a declutter, even if it looks pretty good and put together on the outside. You don't need to declutter the whole house in one weekend or in the 1 month. I'm going to be sharing with you how you can start with just 5 minutes a day. Let's jump into this Simply Happy conversation where I'll share 5 signs it's time to declutter. Thanks for joining me for today's solo episode about the subtle clues indicating it's time to declutter your home or maybe even small spaces in your home. Decluttering isn't just about organizing. It's about reducing the items you're keeping in your home so that you don't need to organize things that you're holding on to. I'm going to walk you through 5 signs that will indicate whether you need to declutter or not. So let's start with number 1. The clues are in the chaos. So you can't find things when you need them, like your keys or your lunch boxes, shoes, socks, important documents. And that's not because you've forgotten where they are. It's a system issue. It's how your things are organized. Does that item then have a home? You could ask yourself the question whether that item has a home. And if it doesn't have a home, what's your first instinct of where you would put it? This is usually my advice to clients to decide on an appropriate home, because I might think that the place to keep batteries is in my kitchen area, whereas for you it might be in your laundry or it may be in the garage. Whatever comes to you as your natural first instinct is where you would put that item. 2 tips to help you with the chaos is to consider establishing a designated spot for items you need on a regular basis. So for example, keys. I have my keys, they're on a little hook and they're all in the same spot and they're hanging in our pantry. And so whenever we're putting our keys away, that's where they go. That's where they will be at the end of the day, most of the time. Occasionally, I might end up taking 2 sets of keys with me, which I've done on occasions, and taken my husband's keys and mine. I've taken 2 sets in my handbag, which means that he has not had keys to drive the car at home. Another thing to think about is maybe a drop zone. It could be an area for kids to put their school bags, or maybe it's yourself, a place where you put your bag when you come home. I have a place, it's in my bedroom door, and that's where I always put it, so I know where it's going to be. Maybe it's also around your grocery bags, where you're going to leave them. Maybe there's a spot at the front door and they get put there before they make their way out to your car. Another thing you could do is simplify your storage systems to save time and also reduce stress. And things like clear containers so you can see where your items are, and also having easy access. If you have lids on things, that's going to make it harder to get the items out. Also, like when you're putting things into a cupboard, that you're making sure that it's only going to be sort of one touch rule. You're not having to take out something to then remove the next thing behind it, because that's going to stop you putting it back in the correct spot. Number 2 clue that you maybe need to declutter is it takes way too long to clean your house. If cleaning feels like something that you're always doing, it's really time consuming, it could be the result of just too much clutter. And when you have too much clutter, it makes it so much harder to actually clean. So it's not a lack of motivation. It's because you have to move things to be able to maybe clean. So my tip to help you with this is to take a look at the clutter and identify items you don't use, and maybe consider either donating, recycling, or maybe even selling them online. And just reducing your possessions can really help reduce cleaning time and also that effort. For example, if you have less clothes, that equals less washing. If you have less toys, that equals less packing away. Each of these has a flow-on effect when you have less items. Number 3 sign that you need to declutter is that you keep rebuying the same things. Things that I see regularly that people rebuy things like stationery. So it's like scissors and stapler. It may also be paper, wrapping paper, but also computer paper, batteries. These things that maybe don't have a proper home are things that you've just stuffed in a cupboard and then you're like forgotten where you've even put them. If you're doubling up on items, it's showing that your storage system is not working and that you are having to buy extras to be able to accommodate when you need things. I also do love intentional doubles, and that means that you've deliberately purchased something to have in a different space, which means that you don't need to move it. For example, bins. I like to have bins in each of the bedrooms, even in your bathrooms. I have multiple in my kids' bathroom because that way I know that they're going to use it. It's situated right where they kept dropping the toilet rolls. Now they drop it straight into an open bin. Another one is charging cords, because you may move them and then forget to take them back. So this way, if you've got it in several places where you find yourself charging your devices, you don't have to then move them and they're not going to get lost. Another thing is washing basket. Having washing baskets in the bathroom and maybe in bedrooms may also help with making sure that everything is then put in the washing basket. And my favorite intentional double is having lip balm. So I have one in my car, one in my handbag, one in my other handbag. I have them in several places around the home, and that means that I'm never losing one. Another strategy to help you stop buying the same things is to check before you go shopping. Do I need these things in the pantry, or do I already have enough supplies? So having a grocery list or a checklist is going to stop you from overbuying. And also incorporating clear containers, because if you're someone who needs to be able to visually see it, having a clear container means you can see it from just a glance. Also labels, maybe it's labels on the container, and this will then stop you purchasing unnecessary things and save you money. Number 4 sign that you maybe need to declutter is that you avoid certain drawers or even rooms. Like I said in the intro, it may be a spare bedroom, it may be a garage. So we all have that drawer or even a room where we just put the things that we don't want to make decisions about. The avoidance of certain areas is usually because of a psychological barrier that stems from clutter. And that avoidance is a sign of not only physical clutter, but maybe also emotional clutter. Anxiety can really affect your decision making, and this might lead to you keeping something rather than discarding it because you're too overwhelmed and not sure what to do, and you may just need it in the future. So you put off that decision making so that you're not maybe going to regret it. Another reason you might be avoiding those decisions is because you have that emotional attachment to those items. So my advice is to start small. Just tackle one drawer or one shelf at a time, and then gradually working towards larger spaces. And if it feels overwhelming to go into that space and be working within that space, I will then sometimes with clients put things into a box or a container and take it out of the room. We'll sort through it and make the piles and return it to places it needs to go or let go of. And then I'll go back in and get another box of items and bring it out, because the visual clutter can be really overwhelming for some people. And number 5 sign it's time to declutter is you feel tired just looking at it all. So the visual clutter equals mental clutter. And visual clutter contributes to that mental fatigue and really stops then productivity and also impacts your mental health. Your living space is somewhere you want to retreat to help your nervous system relax and not feel overloaded. When we have clutter around us, it impacts our nervous system. Aiming for simplicity and making deliberate choices about what you want to keep in your life and what needs to be stored away will help you to relax and also focus. So let's just revise those 5. 1, the clues are in the chaos. So making sure that you know where your items are and you might simplify your storage. Number 2, it takes way too long to clean. Examples of this is less clothes equals less washing, less toys equals less packing away. Number 3, you keep rebuying the same things. So we need to make sure that we're placing the items in a spot that we're going to then remember where we've put it, and also maybe using labels or clear storage containers to help remember where they are. And number 4, you avoid certain drawers or rooms in your home because you feel completely overwhelmed by the physical and emotional clutter that's there. And number 5 is you feel tired just looking at it. That visual clutter is creating mental clutter for you. You don't need to declutter all at once. I find a step-by-step approach. So start with 5 minutes a day. If you want some help, that's where I come in. And you can download my 5-minute declutter ebook with practical, super easy organizing hacks to help you create a clutter-free, functional, and simply happy home. Remember, the journey towards decluttering is as important as the result itself. Thanks for listening to Simply Happy Conversation. Thank you so much for joining me for today's Simply Happy Conversation. If you find yourself wasting precious time searching for misplaced items and wishing for a more organized life, then you need my 5-minute declutter ebook, the ultimate guide to quick and easy organizing solutions for a clutter-free and happy home. Forget about spending months KonMariing your house. These fun solutions are designed to give you immediate results in under 5 minutes. Head over to Simply Happy in the resource section and download your free copy and start seeing results in minutes. I'd like to acknowledge the Wathaurong people of the Kulin Nation on which this podcast is recorded as the traditional custodians of the land. I pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging.